Hello, Ben Smith here with eTrends Group, your prosperity advisor. You notice I'm in the car driving. I'm headed to Las Vegas today for work. If you look over my shoulder, you'll notice, of course, I'm driving through the Nevada desert. One thing that characterizes Nevada, maybe more than almost any other state, is vacant land. Another thing, incidentally, that characterizes Nevada is the fact that the federal government owns 75% of the state or something like that. I didn't get on to talk about BLM, though that's a great subject we could talk about sometime. I was thinking about the few landowners out here that do own some of this land and what the tax impact is on them for owning this land. And more specifically, how the TCJA, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of a few years ago, how that impacted them. And so I wanted to share that with you real fast. I hope this can help some of you who might own vacant land that's not being used for anything. Maybe give you some ideas, or maybe just inform you. You may not be aware of how this land is treated for tax purposes. So vacant land that's not being used is treated as an investment, and there have been some changes in the items that we get to deduct that relate to that land. So I'm going to use my dad here as an example. Hi Dad, if you're watching this. My dad, some years ago owned a little bit of vacant land. It was some farmland. He didn't farm it, but when he owned it, we would deduct taxes and the interest, as well as some of the carrying costs. So for instance, every year he paid a fee to the water company that he had to pay in order to maintain the water rights on the land. We would deduct that, and they were all itemized deduction. And occasionally there would be other expenses, and he would deduct those as well. The TCJA changed that, and there's some things you should be aware of. Number one, if you own vacant land and you're paying interest on it, the interest is still deductible. It's considered investment interest, which means it's only deductible to the extent that you have investment income, but it is deductible. And if it's not deductible in any given year, let's say you don't have any investment income, you can still take the investment interest, though it won't give you any current year benefit. It'll carry forward to the future years and offset future investment income, so that's great. Taxes, you can deduct those, and taxes on vacant land are not subject to the $10,000 limit on taxes that many of you are probably familiar with. So you can actually deduct them above and beyond the $10,000. That's great. Here's the biggest change though, the carrying costs. You have other carrying costs on the land. You cannot deduct those. They're not deductible anymore. You can't itemize. You can't deduct them as itemized deductions. And here's the kicker. You can't even add those costs to the basis of the land and reduce your gain when you sell eventually down the road. This is a major hit. This is a big hit for some people who hold land. I hope that informs you. Now what can you do about it? Well, there's a number of things. If you hold vacant land, you could develop it. All right, you could in any sort of way. You could turn it into productive use property. You could turn it into a farm. You could turn it into, of course, I don't know, you look at this land, they ain't turning that into a farm unless they're farming Joshua trees. But you could turn it into a farm. You could build a house on it, turn it into a residence. You could build commercial property or business property, buildings on it. In other words, you could just turn it into productive use and get it out of the investment bucket. That is one way to solve the issue. Maybe that's not something you want to do. There are other options. You could 1031 exchange the land for something else, for something that's not just raw land. You could sell the land and recognize, you have a gain on the land, but you could defer that gain if you were to roll your gain over to a qualified opportunity zone. Qualified opportunity zones are all around the country. They're essentially distressed areas, and if you invest in those areas, you get to defer capital gains. So you could defer your capital gains by investing in a qualified opportunity zone. In addition, you could actually stay invested in a qualified opportunity zone and hold that investment for more than 10 years and actually start to accumulate tax-free appreciation on your investment. So, that's an option. There's a few options, obviously. You've got a handful of options. Of course, you can always just hold it, and that's fine too. But I hope now you're informed. You can make a little more informed decision about the land. If you have questions about it, come see me. There's often some creative things we can do. So come talk to me. Let's figure out what's best for you in your unique tax position. Maybe you don't need any of that at all and holding it is just absolutely fantastic. Or maybe you'll find that we can actually save you a whole bunch of money by making some tweaks. So come see me and wish me luck in Las Vegas the next couple days. I'll need it. Not because I'll be at the tables, but just because I'll be in Las Vegas. All right.